All right, welcome to another awesome Roll for Crit mini podcast episode covering Gen Con 2014. So,
Well, if you've been watching these,
he's excited.
yeah, we've gotten some games. We didn't get some games. This is one, unfortunately, that falls into that ladder.
Yes, it's sold out quite quickly. I would have loved to pick it up.
However, luckily, we already have this pre-ordered for not only for us, but also for the site.
Right, so you'll be able to purchase it from us soon, hopefully, which will be awesome. So anyway, in case you didn't read the title of the episode for some reason, you want to be surprised, the game we're talking about is Dead of Winter by Plaid Hat Games, which was definitely one of the most anticipated games, I think, by many people at the show, and definitely one of the hardest to get a chance to play the demo of on the show floor.
Oh my God, this is third day. We kept going and we just never a chance. We finally got one.
Yeah, we finally just decided we're going to wait until one of these tables clears up. So
we had a little campfire going and roasting marshmallows.
It was nice. So the game is a zombie apocalypse theme where you're a group of survivors cooperative together. However, there are a couple twists. So the first one is that each of you has a secret objective. So in order to win the game, you not only need to complete whatever the overall goal is for everybody, but also your own personal scenario. So the team might win, but you actually will still lose if you don't get your secret one done. And one of you might be a traitor who's trying to make everybody lose. So there's that. Then there's also the big hook of the game is these crossroads cards.
Oh, yeah.
So you go ahead.
Yeah. So pretty much the way they work is, let's say Jonathan did his turn, whatever it was. Then at the start of my turn, he draws a crossword card.
Whoever's to your right.
Yes. So he won't tell me what it says yet. He'll see what conditions it has to revealed. So I may be like, okay, I'm going to drive the car.
No, you're not.
In which case, he will reveal said card, and I'm usually given two options. They're usually not that great.
So usually it's some kind of flavor text will be there. Something will trigger. So maybe if you move to the grocery store, there's a hungry zombie.
Or maybe if you have a certain person with you.
Right. A lot of different things. Sometimes you have no choice. You trigger it immediately as the turn starts. But if you don't trigger it, then nothing happens, and you just discard it, and it's fine.
And you're like, yes, I didn't do bad things.
But it definitely makes you think, like, you know, it makes you a little wary about every move that you're going to make, which is great for that paranoia.
Well, it did that, and also it sort of gave me the idea of, like, realistic, like, the car example I gave was the first one that happened to me, which was actually really funny, though, because it was like, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely, because like it's all because it's so related to what you did. You never feel like, oh, I just drew a card, and it's like you were walking in the woods, and it's like, no, I wasn't. In this case, you were. That stuff is really happening to you.
Because it is like you made the choice. It's not like, why would I go in the woods? It's like, no, I did decide to drive a car.
Yeah, which is great. There's a couple also. They really do a good job, I think. That general feeling of Walking Dead style, a group working together but not necessarily trusting each other and having to make difficult choices. So one of those comes into play when there are voting systems and everybody has to put their thumb up or down and vote on a decision to be made.
And another big thing is you can actually accumulate your discard pile, the waste, and you actually lose morale for that, which also makes sense because everything's being cluttered.
Right, there's a morale track like similar to Battlestar Galactica.
And a big thing, this is one thing I really love that stands out from other zombie games. Often when you fight zombies, they fight back a lot, and it's really as if there's, like, for example,
Last Night on Earth?
Last Night on Earth, thank you. There's a mastermind controlling them, so the zombies move smart, like they try to corner you. In this, really, they just go where they go, and when you fight one, you kill it, no matter what. But then you roll this horrific die. What was the die called again?
Exposure die.
Exposure die, in which you either get frostbite, because it's winter during, surprise, a wound, or you get bitten.
That's bad.
Yeah, you want to explain what happens when you get bitten?
If you get bitten, there's only one result on, I think it's a 10 or 11 sided die. Then your character is dead. That's it. And if you're in the same location as someone else, you pass the die to them, and they also have to roll to see if they get infected. And I don't remember exactly, but you can opt to instead take a hit instead of having to pass the die around to everybody, because it's possible they could roll a blank and nothing happens. It's actually pretty likely. It's like a 50-50 chance. But still, it's a lot. So it can be intense because you have to roll that die every time you move or attack somebody generally.
Another thing I really liked was there were plenty of survivors, each with their own abilities.
A lot.
But at least the cards I drew that give you new survivors would be like 3 outsiders, in which you got to draw one survivor from the deck. But then you get 2 useless survivor tokens, in which you still have to feed them, which gives that sort of sense that not everyone can do anything, like us.
Which, again, it just speaks to how they... Like, the guys told us, so our scenario was we had to kill a certain number of zombies and try to get samples from them for research. But our demo guys said that most of the scenarios really aren't about killing zombies, and the zombies are more just kind of a thing that's in your way of your actual goal.
Which I think makes really great sense, because, I mean, a lot of the great zombie movies, the worst things isn't the zombies as much as it might be other people.
Yeah. So, I mean, because, like, you know, we love Last Night on Earth, but this is really more of that... like you just said, it really captures the feel of being in a thing where the people are the enemies and not just a hack and slash.
I mean, if you pick yourself in a zombie apocalypse. Actually, I think the perfect example is DayZ, the video game. It's a big MMO, but the big trouble about it isn't the zombies. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a zombie in the game yet. Pictures. It's the fact that people will be like, "This is a train for bus for new people." You go down there and then you arrive in an arena and they force you to fight to the death. Everyone has their own agendas, and in a zombie apocalypse, really, we lose what little humanity we have left.
Yeah, and I already said, but The Walking Dead, very similar kind of thing. If you like that at all, you would definitely get into this theme. So how did you like the game actually?
Well, I will say I did, because I actually replaced someone because I left to do.
You came halfway through.
Yeah, because there's only so many seats, and we're like, Jonathan stayed around while I got some other things done.
But
some other things. Well,
in spite of that,
reported on. No, the game felt great. It didn't feel like I was fighting some master zombie. I really felt like because I was the traitor, which is a little annoying because I came halfway through. In fact, mine was really funny though, because I was the. Everyone was always asking, "Where's all the food?" I was hoarding all the food because that was my goal.
And there's not always a traitor, I should point out. It's a chance there'll be a traitor,
which makes perfect sense.
Right.
But it just had that really fun concept of how do we work, and like this is it's your working out. No matter, even if you're not the traitor, like you want the most cards, you still want to get that. So maybe you might not do the most optimal strategy for the group in order to help yourself. In which case, you gotta watch, is that guy really helping himself or what?
It also has a similar mechanic to Battlestar Galactica, where there's a crisis that comes up, and you put cards face down, some that could help it or hurt it. Although it takes place over an entire round, where Battlestar is like one thing. But that's another way that traders can kind of mess with the group. But yeah, overall, I really liked it. I do think it's not the demo floor of Gen Con is not the ideal situation to play this game in.
Well, the biggest issue is the fact that they went full on with the game.
Right.
It was one of those games that they really should have done one turn. Not one turn, but like a few
I think they
turns.
should have shortened it somehow. I mean, it definitely need a few turns to get into it.
Because I mean, I feel like I probably got the gist after 3 turns of how it worked.
Well, actually, yeah, technically we only played 3 rounds to play the game, to beat the game, but they were long, especially because with the Crossroads cards, you're reading a lot of text almost often every turn, not always. But other than that, in the right atmosphere, I can see this is really being like my go-to zombie game for people, co-op.
Yeah, and what I'm most excited about is, remember, this isn't a standalone. Like, this is planning to do a series of crossroad games, like other games, and I really like the idea that really your choices could trigger something, and that was like my favorite part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, though I thought it was a fresh breath to a zombie game.
Yes, absolutely. If you're like, oh god, another zombie game, this really is a great take on the genre.
And I will say that because you brought up Battlestar, it isn't as stressful as that.
No, definitely not. Although later scenarios, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. But the one we did, and as the trader, I didn't feel nearly like every time we play Battlestar, I feel like we're pulling our hair out because know who the bad guy is. the bad guy usually isn't going to screw up that much, I feel.
Right. And there's probably, I think, only can be one, so it isn't as bad as Battlestar. So yeah, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to actually sitting down and getting deeper into it and trying one of the other scenarios.
So I suggest you head down to rollforcrit.com and keep an eye out there for more news, as well as when we start selling Dead of Winter.
Absolutely. And maybe you want to get that update instantly right to your phone or something like that. You can follow us on Twitter at rollforcrit. Lots of news and fun posts there.
And if you have any questions, which I'm sure you always will, you can reach us at our email, rollforcrit@gmail.com.
Not implying that you're stupid or anything. Just
No.
you're curious. You have a
Oh,
healthy curiosity.
We don't have the game in front of us, so they're probably like, "What did they look like? What's more? Tell us everything."
Tell us everything.
So,
We have lots of pictures.
We do. So that covers it for this Gen Con episode.
That's right. Thanks for watching. Roll for Crit. Peace.
Stay warm.